Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's getting close into the holidays. We're a little over a week away, and I feel like painting something with some of those holiday colors again, which are kind of fun. Anyway, so what I have here, last night when I finished painting, you know, sometimes I have paint that's left over from my palette. Sometimes I don't keep it, and so what I do is I'll just toss it together, make base coat color, and base coat some boards and stuff that I might use in the next couple of days of painting. It's a really great way, so I never waste paint. But so I took some of my reds and I had some beige and stuff left over, and especially a lot of reds. This was from the Western one that I was doing, and so I based this board. It's a 14 by 14, so it's 14 this way, 14 inches this way, 1/4 inch wood panel, and I base coated it. Originally was done with the canvas prep medium, and so I just base coated right over that, using up some of my colors. Now let's do some fun things. So I want to start maybe do some, gold roses and stuff like that. Something kind of holiday look to it. Maybe a few berries. I don't know. Let's just try. Okay. So I'll put them right in here into this area, and maybe some streaks of color through here. I might keep some of this, but let's break some of this up. Oh, one of the things, I've got just a tiny bit of beige, of the medium beige, just a little tiny bit left. Maybe we can get a squirt out of here and use some of it. Just a little bit left. A little bit left. You know, they make all kinds of things to help you with getting that last little bit of paint out of here, called tube ringers. I don't know if some of you have seen it. They work really, really well. Well, that one's gone. Has served me very well. That one's gone. Tube ringers that you can ring those out with. They work really well. I use the edge of the table sometimes and just put it around, pull it down the edge of the table. But I'm going to use a 2-inch. This is my Werner paint scraper or scraping knife. I got it right off of Amazon. This is a 2-inch one. And you've seen me use this in landscapes and stuff like that. Let's do some fun things. Let's just take some of this and scrape through our painting here to put some of this color down. And I know some of you might think, oh, you're a little nuts again today, Dave. But no, this will be, let's build this for a little bit, working some of these colors, and we'll put in some gold and stuff. But I love to work colors like this. Let's take some of the green, holiday colors, green, a little bit of the the burnt sienna, and a little bit of green. Let's model that together, and let's pull some of this down, right down in through here, taking up some of this. Sometimes I'll push real hard like that and make, make a hard line. Sometimes I will soften it out and stuff like that. So now you can take your brush. Let's take a big brush. We could soften some of this out and pull through and blur it out and stuff just a bit here. Let's do a little bit of that, blur some of that out. I like some of that light color coming through here. This is just water in my brush, and you can see how it slowly works into the paint here and softens the edges. So it just works right in. This is one of the things the Heritage is designed to do, is to slowly change and soften up like that. But and play, when you got colors and stuff left over on your palette, play with it. That's where your new ideas and new looks are going to come. And all of us have all kinds of different ideas. Go give them a shot. Try some things. Let's put some of this right down through here, a little heavier. See, I love that. That's a really neat look. And so we softened it out. And then we'll shift over to some greens and stuff coming through here. See, I love this, this marbleizing or modeling that you get. I like to call it modeling that you get through the colors. And let's push some of this right up here into this color, into this corner, and pull some of this down through here. I might leave some of this going into the reds. Don't know yet. But, or you can soften it, like put some of this green on there. Let's take our big brush with a little bit of water and just pull through that green, soften that out. Let's soften some of this out. I like to, those of you that watch me paint all the time, I like strong verticals and horizontals in the paintings. You know, whether it be landscapes or florals or whatever, I like to have that type of movement, the horizontal movement and the strong vertical movement. That's kind of pretty there. I think I want just a bit more burnt sienna, so I'll take some burnt sienna right through here, and that, there we go, just like that. That's a different kind of color. I like that. See, I like the way the knife puts it on, and then I can soften it with my brush. So sometimes you see me use the brush, and then sometimes like this. And see, I like that evolution of the colors through there. That's pretty nice. That worked. That worked out okay. And it's got kind of this greenish cast to this reddish cast, and then that nice burnt sienna cast. Make sure you wipe off of your paint scraper there so paint doesn't build up on it, because then you don't get a nice flat effect if you're painting there. You don't get that flattening effect. Okay, so the palette that I'm painting with here, this is the normal palette that I use for a lot of my paintings. All the listing of all the colors are down in the video description where you will normally find them, okay? The color that I'm adding to this, of course, I just added some medium beige, but this is the gold. This is the gold color that comes from our company here, and it's been around, it's been in the line, in our paint line for 16 years, so it's been here for a while. So I'm going to add some of that into the painting, okay? But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with some red, white, or pinkish kind of roses. So let's come in and let's set a rose. Boy, I like that kind of feel right there. Let's set a rose right up here. And so what I do when I'm feeling the rose, first off, I don't like to make a rose any larger than my fist, especially because I'm going to use I believe this is a number 10. It's got paint all over it. A number 10 Fusion Flat. And so when I paint with a number 10, I don't like to work a rose larger than my fist, because then my brush has to work too hard. I can paint larger roses, but that's when I go to like my 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch brush. Okay, so the general rule that I have used for 30 years of painting roses is that if I have to take more than 3 strokes to paint the width of a petal, I'm working too hard, because I'm not allowing the brush to have that magic, that impressionistic edge that comes from just 1 or 2 marks, okay? So I don't like to work too hard when I'm painting something. So let's put some deep red violet right down into the throat of this rose. Oh, I like right there where that comes up against that edge there. That's kind of pretty. Let's put down where the bowl is going to be. So the rose, those of you that follow, you know, my painting, and we're painting all kinds of flowers and stuff like that. The rose is a set of 3 circles. And so I have the inner circle here, which is the inside throat of the rose, the bowl of the rose, and then the outside petals of the rose. So, and this might be a bit too big, so I'm just going to back some of it off. And this is where I really like to use my hands. I love to paint with my hands. This is my left hand. Some of you notice I paint with my left and my right hand, both. And it's more of a matter of necessity of which fingers are clean, because they all going to end up dirty. But I like my left hand paints different than my right hand, and if I'm painting super impressionistic, I use my left a lot because it's different from the way in which the motion comes from my right hand. So that's one reason why I do it. Let's pull some Naphthol Red Light down and some white. Those are pretty colors. If you want a nice Christmassy red, you add a bit of the Quinacridone Violet to it. Quinacridone Violet and Naphthol Red Light, about 1-to-1, give you a beautiful Christmassy kind of red here. Let's just kind of shape up the rose. So this will be the front edge. This will be into the inside of that rose there. Okay. And let's just kind of get the idea of the shape. So there's the bowl. So here's the front edge of the bowl. Here's the inside. I'm going to restate that inside again. And so there's the bowl, and then we'll paint some reaching petals coming out to the outside. We'll just kind of shape up the rose. Let's put a little more quinacridone in this here. we'll kind of shape up the rose, and then we'll get into the decorating of the rose. So let's just kind of shape it up. Now, I don't want to reach out, David, too far, because I don't want that to get bigger than what I'm doing there. So we'll keep it kind of close right in here, right in like that. Okay, so there was 4 strokes to that. That's about, I don't want to go any more than that, you know, to build something. Let's build this one right up in here. And to this side, I'm going to let it go just casual there, just like that. So that's a good size of a rose. I want to come in here, little quinacridone, little red violet, reset some of this red right in here. And I'm painting pretty thick. If you notice, I'm painting pretty thick colors here. That's kind of pretty color right over here. Let it go down to some of this. And this is what I like, guys, when I can smear it. See how I can smear it like this? You know, just work those colors. They're on so thick that the rose just kind of smears around. I like that. Okay, now I'm going to go a lot lighter, but I'm using these colors that are just a little bit lighter, a little bit more bold off of the background, so I can draw my rose and so I can see the rose. And then I'll do some changes later on. Now I'm going to add a little bit of extender here, and let's put a second one right in here. Not quite as big. We'll put one right in there. And I like to get an idea for the composition. Let's push one, maybe a smaller one, right down over here. Maybe a rosebud or something coming up this way here. Okay, there's a pretty little. I love these simple little rose compositions, and I put them over on in the online gallery and sell these things. I love painting them. They're just so much fun, and I love, you know, just I like how people just how they go to them and love them, and they're really a lot of fun. So there you see that one. Now where you put the center of this rose gives it its gaze. So right now I have it kind of going down this way. I could gaze it maybe upwards just a little bit. So yeah, just about like that. That would be kind of pretty. Let's just do this. Boom. And just leave it just that casual. This is the one thing that's also for those of you that, you know, have a hard time. And it is hard sometimes painting roses and getting the feel of them. I understand. I tried them for a long time. But if you go through your composition and kind of set it up first, don't concentrate on one rose. Go through and set it up as you get going, as you get going, your mindset gets into your composition. Your roses should lighten up and become more casual. That's what will happen here as I start to get a little bit more casual with the working of my color here. My roses, the feel of my roses will become more casual here as well. Okay. And it does happen. It does work. Okay, so now we're going to start concentrating on lightening this up. Maybe a little more, maybe some open medium, which is this is the Diarylide open medium, which gives you a longer time to work with the rose. Maybe I'll add a little bit of the gold to this, giving it just a bit of a shimmer here. And I'll work that right into that edge, right there. Boom. And let some of that, you know, let some of that nice casual nature there come through. I like that. Let's push some of this off to the side, a couple of strokes, and just let that just kind of soften down. Let's get a little bit more soft here, maybe. Some of the back of this rose gets a little soft here. There, like that. Push that around a bit, okay? And you can do more of a stroke rose. You can do more of a casual rose. I'm not sure quite yet how I'm going to do this one, so we'll be a little casual for a while. See how that dark, see? And I can push up against that dark really easy right in there and cause that blurriness there to that edge, because this is nice thick paint in there. So I'll pick up a little more gold here. Let's drop a bit of gold right in there. That's kind of pretty. See, in those secondary marks, dig up a little bit of that back, softening out my rose a bit. I'm going to wipe some of that extra color out of my brush and hit it with a little more gold. There we go. Just a bit of the gold up here in the front. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, just a bit of the gold. Right up through here into the center. Here. Let's just build. And so we'll do maybe a softer little painting here of this rose. See, I have encroached down on my brush here. This allows me to just really get a perfect little edge there on that rose, right where I want it. Let's come in here and lighten up. This rose will 1, 2, 3. That's what I really like. We'll push into that other dark that we had there. That will soften it out. We'll push this up maybe just a bit there. Like that. That's kind of pretty. Add that open medium to get some of that transparency. You can shift the colors a little bit here too. Let's go a little more quinacridone here. Right in here. A little bit more quinacridone. Look at how bright and pretty that color is there. And let's just push some of that out. Once we get the main shape that the rose is coming here, we can push some of this out to just get more of an impressionistic edge. Push it and, you don't have to have perfect little petals. But I can take a tiny bit and use that petal edging technique that I talk to you about all the time. And I'll just pick up a light right on that edge and just push over onto that edge and give the impression that there's a petal there, see? Let's put some more gold into that and maybe, boom, put on just the idea of the gold coming into the rose there. I want to give a bit more of a gold here to this edge as well. I like that gold color coming in there, so we'll push that in. Let's pick up a touch more gold right across the front here. That comes in maybe a bit more here. Here we go, something like that. Let's lighten up a little bit of gold. Maybe add a couple of petals right here. And they're pulling into the bowl there. So we're lightening up the front of the rose and pulling into the bowl here. Okay, so let's drop one right in here. There, like that. That's kind of neat. Sometimes I'll leave those marks there. Sometimes I'll build up this other side maybe a little bit. If you leave them too many of those marks, your rose can get kind of stiff instead of soft. So I like those little streaky marks sometimes I'll take out. But let's build a little light, a little more light, a little more gold here. Maybe right up in here. Watch your rose. Watch the pretty, what are the pretty colors that are happening on your rose here. See what you like. Here. Here we go. Some of that pretty, maybe a bit of the darker, maybe some of that quinacridone in red together. That nice Christmassy red right on the edge there. As that comes around, that's kind of nice. Maybe down by the bowl here. A little bit of that color. So you can, you can restate, and you've seen me so many times painting roses and fun things, telling you restate that shadow, restate that bowl shadow. And sometimes when you're really into the roses, you need to restate that bowl shadow a few times. So I'm building color here, each time kind of finding how I want to display this rose. So it's building up some of that gold there into some of the lower colors. And not sure yet just how much to do, but let's just pull some of this in. And you can stop any time that you like. I'm going to experiment here a little bit and see what it is that I want to do here. That's pretty. Maybe a little more dark. Restate that. See, I love to do this, to pull around like this, because see, that brings up the shadow of the bowl, and it unifies the rows by giving that bowl stroke. And so if you make a mistake in there, don't, or you're not sure, don't be afraid to do that, because it kind of, that stroke of following the bowl there kind of unifies your rows again, brings that the bowl back up and these petals all in line. So let's just drop that in. That's kind of pretty. See all the colors, the working of the colors now. I love that. And let's just put in a little one here, a little edge. Maybe a touch more white into that with some gold. Here. There we go. And you can reshape the bowl shadow through there. That's kind of pretty. I like that deeper red, so I'm going to put some of that right back in there. Reset it right back in there. Just pick it up, put it in there, see? It's kind of pretty. But, so let's just say, okay, sometimes I'll feel, well, maybe I've worked that a little bit too much or something. And I'm just going to show you here. I do like this one, but I'm going to take it out for you. I'll take my thumb like this, and I'll push through to the shape of the rose. And this takes a little bit of bravery, but I'll push through like this. But see, what it does is it now gets that, you've got a softer blur image of your rose that I just come right back up on top of. And you can change petal shapes and stuff like that, but I can come right back up on top of this and reshape my petals again. So sometimes when I feel, and it happens to all of it, that feel maybe you've worked your rose a little bit too much, or you got a little too heavy, take your hand and wipe through and bring that bowl back up, see? And maybe, maybe if you don't see your bowl shadow all the way through here, restate it. Look at that beautiful color right in there. Let's put some deeper and look at it. And this is what I love to do. I never get upset when I'm painting a rose in that, oh, now I've screwed it up. No, you've just opened the door to other possibilities. Does that make sense? Don't get upset with it. I mean, it's only paint. You can change everything. So let's power through. Matter of fact, let's just take some of this and power some of this right into here. Let's take some gold in this color and drop it right into some of this. That's kind of pretty. Move this around the painting a bit. This is kind of pretty. Let's just move this around. Yeah, that's maybe right out. And sometimes I'll do this. Let me show you this. As I'm working a rose, I'm constantly looking for new things. So I'll take my finger like this with some water in it and blur that back edge. That makes this nice transparent edge back here. See this? And what I do is I actually bring the green back into that. I'll push right into that green and see how it blurs that back edge. And this brings in the front part of the rose here. Maybe I've got a little bit too much in or something like that. All of this, you think, oh no, you've screwed it all up. No, look at what's happening to the rose. See all the colors that are moving down and stuff into that rose? That's what you want. Don't be afraid to go in there and push around, but then look what you have, right? Look what you have. And then go back through your basics. Reset your center. It's really easy, but now the center gets set with just a couple strokes as opposed to working very hard. So don't overwork your center. Reset a center. I'm going to set this one down just a little lower right in there. Let's set a little gold back here and push some of that gold right as the back edge of the rose back there. Let's do that, right? Let's take some gold, maybe a little red, some of this right up to the front, right up here, and set that front petal in there again, right like that. Maybe a bit more of it right up over here. Set that petal in. Now see, look at all the colors that are happening in there. But I'm reading all the colors. They're very light. I love that color in there, right? So don't get, what do you need to do? Reset it. Reset it. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. Just reset your bowl back in there. And now, and it goes back in simpler the second time. Softer, simpler, right? Look at all the pretty colors that are in that rose. And each time you can make beautiful roses, but I try to get all kinds of different looks. Let's put some of that gold back up in there. I love that look. That's a pretty look right there. And it's just coming from pulling some gold right across the bowl like that. Let's take a little light pink. Let's come back out here. I like all of that. Let's set some lighter petals. Some more reds and pinks and stuff out here. Try to go no more than 3. Let's go a little lighter on that. There we go, right down in there, stopping at the bowl. 3 little marks, right? A lighter little color here, up onto this one. Maybe a heavy little bit right in there. There we go. Let's set a little more light and a little bit of gold onto this one again. Right in there. See, I love that. And see, I get that modeling in there this time. I'll leave it. That's pretty. I like that little modeling in there. And maybe just a mark or two you can pull out too. Just a mark or two here. Just on that side. Let's just leave that side heading like that. Let's pick up some gold, some white here. Light little color. Let's come right down in here and push in couple of marks that say petals here, right? Let's soften, right? Find that bowl again, soften that bowl right there. And now you can shove in quite a few petals, but I think I'm just going to go simplistic here and just build that. See, all of this comes back again, see? And it comes back really easy if you don't overpaint it. So let me just do this. Let me just set that back in soft like that, coming around, setting that back in. See, that's nice and soft. Let me just pop a little bit of light right here and lift off. That lights up the tip of that petal. Let's pick up some more light right here. A little more. Maybe a bit of gold into that light, right? And let's just set in a nice light petal right here. Boom. Right like that. That's a pretty petal. Maybe a little light right into here. That builds that kind of pretty. Let's pick up some more gold. Maybe not quite as light. Go back to some gold right here and reinforce this part of the rose with some light, kind of bringing them together there. And then maybe finally a little lighter petal right up into the front there. See, that's a pretty little rose too. You know, and if you don't like it, then you can soften it out. I feel the light right here is cut off a bit, so what I'll do is just take some light and just carry it around, maybe to the back of the rose. Push it into that shadow. Push it right into that shadow right there. That's a little quick right there. So let's just pull in. Maybe a few little marks here to make it look like back petals turning that rose around. If I feel it's too light back there, I'll just add a bit of red into it. And maybe sometimes just push it in. There. Let's get that red in there. Let's get a darker red in there too. Darker red will contrast it a bit more. We like that. See, I like that kind of movement. See that little touch? Just a little touch. Let's take just a bit of the edge and just say petal and petal there. And thin this out. I thin it out as I go to the back of the rose so the petals don't have as much power here. And let's just push that around as we go to the back of the rose. Let's take some transparent like medium kind of values here, and just say a little bit, maybe a little gold right there would be pretty. A little gold showing up right there, like that. That's kind of pretty. Maybe edge of a soft petal right here. So see, there's all kinds of ways as you build your rose and you practice your rose. There's all kinds of ways. Let's restate. I lost some of my bowl, so I'll just restate it. Right in through here, I'll just pull. And I love those bowl strokes. I love some of that deep, rich color here. That just, let's put a little more dark reds in there. Red Violet, Quinacridone. Here, let's put a little red into that too. Nice red, nice Christmassy, boom, deep red. Let that just play right there, tap along the edges. Isn't that pretty? That's just a nice, beautiful color in there. A bit of that comes out here. Let's push a bit of that into these roses here so they pick up some of that red here that we have. That's kind of pretty. And yeah, and we'll thin out some of this red and pink here, softer little as I come over to this side, and I'll just add some movement here. Just some movement through to suggest that bowl. Maybe a bit more white and gold right out here to really say that nice light petal there. There we go. And that edge. Real edge right there. See, that's what really makes it. And see, I like that. Boom, there's just a hint of white. I call that the sparkle of the flowers. I'll let some of that hit. Usually I do this at the last after I build some of the other roses, but I'll come back and just hit a little light areas. But we'll just go ahead and do it now since I painted this rose quite a bit. So, and we'll drag this kind of petal right in there. And so, you know, you have kind of a pretty rose there, but we can, and it's soft and it's nice. Let's put a stroke of gold right in there, right into that center, right there. And you'll pick up, see, it gets that nice little glow of that gold. Maybe a hit of the gold right here on the tip of your brush. Little hit of the gold right there. That's kind of pretty. So I'll look for little tips after the end of this that I can put on a little touch of that gold and bring back some of the sparkle of that rose. Here, let's a little gold, a little white, a little pink. Push some of that. Maybe a bit more light pink here. Right in here so that we get a light petal right there. And that's kind of pretty. That's kind of a pretty little rose here. Divide this petal up a bit. Just a touch of light here. Push that. I like the shadows to connect. So, in other words, the shadow reaches all the way up to the top of the rose and connects with it. So, if I don't have it in there, I'll add it. Like I don't have it right in here. So I'll just add some shadow and push that around and connect that shadow up in there. And if I hit the petal, if I hit this top up there like I did there, see, so I'll just drag it down like that. These are all things I don't worry about, you know. And you're like, oh, you screwed up your rose. No, you just come back and you push that light right back in there again. You push another light petal right back in there again, okay? It's paint. I always had to, I used to always, when I make a mistake, somebody, oh no, now I just screwed it up. No, it's paint. You can go right over it again and push some of this beauty right back in there again. You know, it's just paint, guys. It's just paint. Don't worry about it. So it's really kind of fun. Let's just push some edges there, some of that movement. And I want to put a bit more gold here, and then I'm going to quit painting this flower. Okay, so There you go. Well, maybe one more petal. You'll see some things and you're just like, oh, I want to make this one a little bit out there, a little bit more. And just drag that in. Give more power to that side of the rose there, like that. That's kind of pretty. Soften that edge back there. Yeah, so see, I use that petal edging technique like that sometimes to really bring out a petal. I can go back, let's thin this out and go back to a medium kind of a pink color and put a bit of that right in there, a bit of that out, just for some movement, and that makes it real pretty. But don't forget to always find that bowl. Let's always kind of find that bowl. That's what makes your rose really pretty, is that bowl there. And that's kind of a pretty little one there. Could have tiny bit more light. So let's go light and gold and pink right up here in the front. Boom. Yeah, that's kind of, see how that just, see, as you do it, see your values get lighter, lighter, lighter. And the good rule of art is as your values get lighter, the area in which you occupy gets smaller, smaller, smaller. So you get lighter, smaller touches, and that gives a lot of depth to your roses. So lighter, smaller, little bits here, little touches. And that's kind of pretty. Just let that sit right there. Let's take some medium color right here and just kind of drag the bowl around a bit. Here, that'll round it up just a touch. See, and connect everything out. So that's kind of a pretty little rose. Let's go over, take our Christmassy red, some pinks and some gold. Let's build some color onto these guys here. We'll do these quicker. I've got a big, beautiful, full rose there, and I'm going to do these a little quicker. Now, so I'll work fast now. After I've decided that, we'll pull some light colors in. We'll just push around. See, I love that pushing around. So I'll just push around. Let's darken it back just a bit as it comes around to this side. And I'll just let some of that soften out. Maybe take the red. Sometimes tone the red down, a little bit of green. That will gray it down, tone it down, soften it down. There we go, just like that. Let's reset. I always love to work and reset that center because that gives you the feeling of the rose, see? So I just push that deep center and work it out, work this right here. And I'm not going to do a whole bunch to this rose. Let's just pull down here, set that front right there. Maybe another slightly lighter petal. I love the roses, here I wanted to show you all different kinds of ways to work through it and still get a beautiful rose. And then this is the way I really like to paint them fast. I love to paint them fast and quick and just follow those same concepts that I was just telling you. But I love to build lighter and smaller. And I feel I get a much prettier rose when I paint them fast. But then you guys go crazy on it that I work too fast. So, but that'll help you. You see, you can just work it and work it and work it. And it takes practice to be able to do that, to go through the motions of the rose, the 3 circles, and build and build and build. That takes practice. That takes time. That takes a few dozens of roses, right? Let's just push some softer color over here. A little bit of gold into that. There we go. Isn't that kind of pretty? That's kind of a pretty little rose just sitting there, just like that. That's all it really needs. Maybe we'll close this end up here a bit. But that's all that rose really needs. I like that. Boy, I really like that reddish color right there. Maybe we can dose this up right here. Boom. See, what happens is you'll go work on another rose and that'll give you an idea for the other one. Just that, maybe a bit of that right in through there. This sets that feeling of that rose. Isn't that kind of pretty? And just 1 or 2 marks, guys, can really just loosen up your rose. And that sometimes won't happen. Sometimes when you get, really depressed about your rose or something, right? And I don't mean to sound like a bummer here, but you get depressed about your rose and you're like, go work on the other ones, because another shape might get back your creativity. Does that make sense? Move on past it. Just keep moving and painting. Don't get tied down to, that doesn't look right as a rose. Keep moving and painting, because it'll come back to you. Let's push some color right into here. Look at how pretty that is. Let's push some, what's next? Let's push some gold into it. And this one's going to set back there, more like a little rosebud. So the center on a rosebud goes in more of an oval. So we'll push the oval in. Let's add a little light, a little bit of our reds right in here. Let's come up to the front and push that one in, right? And maybe this a little more light. So we get lighter, smaller. Let's maybe push in a petal. Not too light here. Lighter, smaller here. A couple of little petals here. Let's, it just says it's a quick little bud. Let's pick up some more gold. Let's just toss in a stroke of that gold. Look at how pretty that little rose is right there. See? Maybe a little bit of light here on the edge. I'll define this edge, this front edge of this one a bit, and maybe 1 or 2 little petals. I've lost a bit of the bowl here, so I'll push that bowl back up and around. And then let's give it its gold again here. That wiped it out too much. Sometimes if it'll wipe it out too much, because painting with the gold is weak, right? So, and if it wipes it out too much, and if you're having a hard time and it just seems like it's always disappearing, then let it tack up, let it dry up. But I'm going to use a very light touch, push that on, and it'll work. But the golds are weaker than your colors, so, and if you want to get them on there and really make them shine, sometimes you've got to let your rose tack up a bit. That's a little too powerful, so I'll just take some colors, some darks and stuff, and just paint right through it there, leaving just a touch of that light gold hitting there. And light little edge there, like that. So it's a light, pretty little petal. Let's put one more smaller, little gold, little white, little pink, smaller little petal right in here. Coming right up into that edge there. That's kind of pretty. Right in there like that. That's kind of a pretty one. I like that. Maybe I'll add that right up over here. An idea of that. Push right there. Yeah, that's kind of pretty. So that idea came into there. A little too much samey same, so I might soften that one back out. But yeah, that's where some ideas, right? So keep moving, and you might get some ideas from your other roses for your main rose here as you keep moving, right? That's the way it works. So little edges here, I'll build up a little more edges there onto that one, and that's pretty. Let's go back and paint this real soft one back down here. So some of my reds. Let's just shoot on some of these reds here. Let's restate that darker center here. Some of that one. See, now I love that color movement and stuff. And sometimes, when it doesn't work for me, rather than give up, sometimes you have to wipe it off. That happens. But sometimes I'll stop the roses and go work some of the leaves and stuff until I get that feeling of that flow going again that I want to have into the painting. Now, that's really going to make gold shine, so let's just hit a couple of gold in there. See? The ticket about painting with a lot of gold is you don't stroke it too many times because it blends out, so you don't want to stroke it too many times. But gold is not easy to paint with. You know, you can do like I did on the bird and stuff that I showed you, those lessons, where we thickened up the white, you know, to paint the breast of the bird. You can thicken up your gold as well, you know, and that all works. Let's put just a little bit back here to say soft little bit of the rose. That's a bit too much in the front of the rose, I think. Even though I love it, it's a bit too much, so I have to soften it out a bit here. That's prettier. That's better. Maybe a touch here. Going across, a touch more light. Sometimes I'll add that open medium to help get a touch of transparency there. Here. That's pretty. Now let's restate. I've lost. I go through in my mind my shapes. Let's reset the bowl, so you see that beautiful bowl right down there, and then let's just reset the shimmer of the gold right here. A little more shimmer of this gold right here, but I'll leave overall everything a little darker on this rose, so that it sits back behind this other big one that's right here. We can maybe have a little light gold right out here as these two petals are kind of colliding. Maybe an edge of it right here. I do love this color, so I don't want to get too much of this right there. I love that little color in there. You could have you could. Let's try to sneak in another little, let's do it this way, another little petal right in there, right across like that. That gives a touch more interest, movement right in there. But that's about all I think I want to do. So I want those to kind of collide. But now to bring them back in line, I need to lighten up this petal so it sits on top of that rose, shoving the other rose down. So I'll paint light and shadow here for just a second. A little bit of shadow onto that one, right? And a little bit of light, little bit of light onto this one to bring that up on top. So those two can collide like that and not be in too much trouble. But I do like to have a few little lines of color. I love the casualness of, you know, the impressionism of color. And so, you know, adding some of this movement and stuff up and around, like other roses and stuff, is kind of pretty. And it doesn't have to be roses as much as it's just movement of color of them. Now, let's go green. You can go with a nice Christmassy green, pine green, a little yellow oxide, a little bit of gold. Pretty colors. I'll put it on the edge of my red here, which will help me soften out if I need to. But and then we can go a little bit of green and blue to some deeper shadow colors, which will really cause everything to shine here. Boom, out like that. Right? And so I like those. Maybe a bit of that shadow, even this real deep color. Here we can use this for some of our stem lines here. Grab some of that, grab some of the light colors that are going to come off of that just to give the impressions of them. I like that. Question is, do I want to lighten up and put some of these light greens back through here? So this is where I'll start to play a little bit. That's a little too gray. So I hit the green and the red there. It's a little too gray. It's a beautiful gray. It would be a soft gray color, which would... Sometimes I'll make a color and just add to it through the painting, because it's pretty, just some of those colors. But let's get some, think Christmas stuff, golds, yellows, through some of this as well. Golds and yellows and pretty colors, golden yellows. here. Those are pretty colors there. But maybe a bit of that light. Let's go to my 3/4 inch brush. I haven't used you yet. Let's go pine green, a little bit of the burnt sienna, a little bit of the gold, and let's lighten it up here. A little too much. Burn a little bit of yellow and some more white and some extender to keep this loose, right? But let's lighten this up just a bit. Lighter green, a little bit more yellow, warmer. Might be too bright, but let's just see. I love doing this kind of stuff. Yeah. See, I see a bit of that light color. Let's take the edge of green and gold. Some of that right in there. Right up by that rose. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Don't get nervous. Yeah, have some fun. It's just paint. It's a painting. It's just paint. Let's work some, and this is the kind of backgrounds in alla prima that I love to work. You know, I love to work them. And see, look at that burnt sienna in there. Burnt sienna and gold. Rich colors here. Burnt sienna and gold. Look at that. Isn't that kind of pretty, that color coming in there? Let's build that light, a little bit of that gold, that light here. Right down in there, right down in behind that rose. Push that, just push the edge of your rose right into it there. That's kind of pretty. Maybe a bit of this green right into that burnt sienna gold. Right here. Right in there. Right there. See, it just kind of pops it. And you can have that spark of some of that green. Boom. Right there. Maybe a pull down of that right there. Just the spark of that green. Maybe it's an impressionistic leaf or something right up there. Just leave the spark of that right there like that. Let's take, I love that warmth of that. Look at that. Look at that beautiful warmth of the burnt sienna and green and gold. Beautiful warmth to that color right down there. Look at that. See, this is the impressionism that starts to come now that I love in the painting. And work these colors here. Right like that. And some of this right in here. Right like that. See, it's very impressionistic. I love it. You can smooth it all out too, you know, that's your choice. Let's just paint in through this. And yeah, I love that. Let's take some of this, not quite as light as that other, but drop some of that right down through here. Let some of it take out. Let's take some of that right down through here. Some of that light. This is the impressionistic backgrounds that I love to paint in. Here, let's drop some dark, cool, try things. Try things. That burnt sienna green right in here behind these two. Right? A little bit of that behind here. Maybe right along that edge of this one there. And maybe we'll take a little gold in that light and just soften that in. See, I'll pull, I love to pull strong horizontals and verticals. Horizontals and verticals. That's what gives me the looks that I really like. And if it's a soft rose or something like that, I'll soften those even more, but I like that. Here. See, but you can, you know, if you like blues and stuff, blues would be very pretty in there. Some of the pinks now. Think about your colors moving through your composition, your golds, your pinks. Push some of those right down into your painting here. into like back roses and stuff going on back here. Other little things going on. Push some of those back in. This one here. Extender. I use the extender rather than the open medium so it's thin, so I can manipulate and keep it thin. You know, I like the thinness of it. Into the background, I'm usually thinner. I'll push a little green into that because it was a little powerful, and the green will soften it out there, right? Oh, I love that deep red. You know, this is where, and so some of this starts to maybe, you know, give you other ideas for other things. So let's put a little deeper red right over here. I like that. That Christmassy red, a little more quinacridone is that Christmassy red. That you can have big marks of it. Just come back in. These are the big impressionistic marks that you can have to really, you know, pop the color or the rose out, you know. So, and you can have some of those colors in there. And you know, if you take any of this dark and you just start to make a swirl, you'll start the impression of a rose, see? So, like I put on just that color and I just swirl a little bit like the center and I start an impression of a rose back there, see? And yeah, so it works really nice. Let's take a little darker green. Drop that right back here. Maybe that's the idea of a leaf right back there, right? It might hit a little brighter yellow-green or so up here at the top. So a little touch of that, a little darker here. Idea. Just some green and some red violet, which is it, you know, makes a real super dark, cool green here. And add a few touches of that, and then we'll add a few touches of some in brighter green. But see, you can negative paint. You can negative paint up against your rose and bring in more of a shape to the rose if you want. Let's just drop in some ideas of leaves and stuff there. And then let's switch over and we'll put it up here by the soft. Let's get some of our yellows, all our yellows. Make a lighter green. Lighter green, and we'll use that into the painting for a few leaves here. Just to say we did it. Some of our yellows, some greens. Just to say we did some of the lighter greens in here. Because see, that gives a lightness to the... I don't always like to do like real light flowers and real dark leaves. I'll do them sometimes. But if I have a light flower, I'll usually at least do one or two at a minimum of some lighter leaves, because the, you know, whatever's giving the one its lightness is going to whatever's lightening up the rose would lighten up the leaves as well. So I like to have them. So a few of these lighter leaves through here is what I like. We'll just blur that off a bit, soften that out here. Little open medium if I want it to keep its stiffness or its ability to stroke here. Soften some down, put some colors out. Let's darken some down, right down here, a nice little cloud. But some of those nice light yellow greens. Get that green, pine green, some Hansa Yellow and some white, nice bright, a little bit of gold, Christmassy. And pop that onto some of them. There, let's pop that a little lighter. Right there. And you can lift out some of the shadow. See, that's kind of pretty. Just lift out, and let's put some of this on the edge here. Just pull that in. See, I'd like to do that. I like to stroke on like the edge and just run my finger right through and blur it off. It just, I like that. So let's just pop some right in here like this leaf is growing up. And then we'll just pull some of that off of that. Maybe one or two little small ones here. Just like that, coming off of those stems. But we'll leave that mostly. I might want to add, I like to add burnt siennas to my stems. Let's go dark green. And if you notice towards it, so I worked that out, and then I just start painting faster and faster. That's how I'd like to normally paint. But as you're working through something, you can see you can work through a rose many, many times, okay, and not have to worry about it, right? So many of the, and I wanted to show you guys, not only we're painting this with, and painting with golds is not easy, but because it adds a different feeling and a different look. But you can come back and play with that. And, like I say, you can work and work and work that rose and come back and change it and change it and change it. Don't wipe the thing completely off. Just kind of build it. But if you lose the main, there's a casual nature to the creativity that we do. And if you lose that, move on. Move on through your painting. Try some other things. And then come back and try it again. Does that make sense? So, and it really, really does work. Now, what I'm going to do is, here it is. Where's my gold? I am going to spark this up one more time, and then we'll call her done. Because we spent an hour on this already. Most of it just playing around and showing you guys all the stuff that you can do on your roses. But let's take a little green and a little red. A little burnt sienna is what I really like. Let's add that gold right to the burnt sienna, right? And let's just come in here and let's spark our painting with this casual gold. Boom, right in here. Be brave. Oh, look how that green comes right through with that. Isn't that pretty? Horizontals and verticals. Right? Horizontals and verticals. Let's just add some sparks here. Lots of good gold here. Lots of good gold. Pretty gold. Little sparks of that color. Let's add one over here. Be brave. Put it on there because we can soften it out. I'll show you in just a second. But see, that's kind of pretty coming in from that side, almost moving through the painting. There's a little too much, but that's okay. Let's put in a bit more right in here, right up next to that rose. See, that's kind of pretty right there. Boom. And maybe, how brave are you? If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. How brave are you? Are you brave enough to do that? And then push this rose edge right into that, right? Are you brave enough to do that? Now, you can soften that out. You can leave some of that, but you can also soften some of that out. Just take some of your greens and start pulling through that. Verticals and horizontals, right? I'm going to leave that little spark right there. That little spark of maybe smooth it just a bit over here. Light pressure right up to it. Light pressure right up to it. Yeah, that's pretty. And see, the more I touch it, notice how the gold, the shimmer starts to go down. So that's how you soften it out to get to the look that you want. I want to redefine this shimmer right over here next to that dark. I'm going to get brave here with this one. Right there next to that dark. Right? Let's get some burnt sienna. Some of the gold together right in there. Right there. Pull some of those verticals and horizontals through that. Let's get a little bit more gold right in there. Sometimes with the golds, it takes a few times to build them up. Let's take some of our soft green. That'll soften some of that out, right out here by the edge. So I work my greens and my other colors out away from that. And I'll leave that spark of gold right there. I like that. Let's put that little hit right up there, right up. You know, I like that. I really like this red, Christmassy, going right up against that gold. So I'll pop that. I know that's bright. I kind of like it. The more I look at the golds, the more brave I get. But let's take some of that. That's the Quinacridone, Little Red Violet, and Little Red. More Quinacridone. Let's take that and just pop that edge right there against that. That's kind of pretty. Pull a little bit of that gold right into that rose right there. That's a reverse contrast right there, boy. In other words, contrast coming from the... Let's push a little bit of that gold right in here. Right into that rose right there. That's kind of pretty. Let's take a bit of this cooler reds. I like that cooler red up against that gold. Right up there against that gold. Right there. Pulling through. That's kind of pretty. Very, very different. Let's put a bit of that red right up there. Nice deep red right up on that part of that. And I do like St. Andrew's cross, of doing the cross of some of the golds and stuff. So, but then if it's too much, you just take it out. But I do like that kind of feeling of the golds. And I like little gold marks, little shimmers through the painting there. And, you know, that looks pretty good right like that. And that will calm down a bit. But we'll just drag that with the paper towel there just for a second. You pick up a bit of that red. I like that real brightness right there. Might be just a touch too much. So I'll just take a little green, little burnt sienna. And you can do it when it's dry. But see, that's beautiful color for setting back some of that gold. See, it's just green and burnt sienna. That just sets that back just ever so softly. And maybe just touch a few marks of that going down. That's kind of nice. A little green. Just model that back. Might even put in some soft golden kind of red colors back here. That's pretty, yeah. Like, you know, maybe there's another rose that's coming right back down there. You know, we don't know. Maybe a little idea of a center, which always, look at how, watch this. As I put this in little half circle here, all of a sudden your eye's going to start to see rose back there, see? A rose sitting right back there. And I really didn't paint anything. Right? So, just fun. Just have some fun with it. And, you know, try some different looks. And if the, you know, if it starts to get to you, or you start to get, you know, feeling a little frustrated or something like that when you're painting it, then don't worry, move on, come back. But you can paint it many times, like I did this one. Many times. You have all kinds of things. And don't, you know, reset that center. Reset the center and try some different things, because it's really quite pretty. I'm just going to carry a little bit of the gold. I love that gold burnt sienna. I'm just going to carry it a little further into some of the painting here. I love that color. So I'll carry it a bit more into there. And yeah, just express those colors. And but whatever you like, it's yours, right? Whatever you like, that's the fun thing. Let me put a little bit of that green out here with that. That's what I love. So you got some pretty roses and different look, but you've got, you know, an hour and 10 minutes is what we have into this thing. And that's not bad, you know, but you can see you can work it and work it and work it. You can put I might put a little tip of I'll go back and look at some of it, you know, some of the areas. I like the spontaneity of those outside roses. That's what I really like, but I might put on just a bit more red, like right down in there to really pop that back edge, and maybe a little touch of the gold back here to just say, boom, there's that pretty little gold of that rose hitting there. And see it. It is really nice. There. Maybe a little edge. See, just put it on the little edge, and that helps you. You can draw little petals with that gold here as well, see? So it gives you all kinds of fun things. But put some of that gold, that little spark. If you've knocked it down too much, just come back and just add a little bit more right in there. And it's kind of fun. But there, you know, add that gold into your painting like that. One of the last things that I'll do here that I like to do is sometimes with the leaves, and you can just take a little gold, just a little edge of the gold, and just use the chisel and give them an idea of a vein line there. So I'll get rid of a touch of that red in there, but give them a little idea of a vein line, just a little shimmer of gold here. There. Just like that. And that's kind of pretty. Add more leaves, do whatever, lighten it up, do whatever. Have some fun with it, though. It's a lot of fun. So, you know, clean up. Now, see, I'd take a palette like this, I'd clean it all up and maybe base coat some more boards, try some more things. But there's some reddish, pinky flowers for you, done all up with some, it's got a Christmassy look to it, okay? I hope you enjoyed it. So we'll go back. I've got some wolves that I want to paint out into a landscape, too. I want to do a mountain scene with it. I call it the morning walk, and it's just snow, first snow on the ground, and some wolves coming through. I got that one drawn up. I have another mountain scene and some rushing water that I want to do, and some rocks that I told you guys about. And I also have a red-bellied woodpecker that I want to paint with you guys too. Used to have those all over Pennsylvania, and especially at this time of year. So I want to do some of those. Got a lot of stuff lined up for you guys, and a lot of your requests. So keep an eye. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Please like and share the videos for us. Though it's that, you know, clicking that like button, you know, helps us. So helps the channel a lot, guys. It really, really does. So you know, make sure you do that. And I'll see you guys in 2 more days. We'll be back with another one. Okay. Thanks a lot. I'll see you later.